We're back. I had to come from behind the curtain finally. You know, when you hit your first message, that's when you have to come out and chat. So I saw Nacho. He said he thought a thought there was a bot in here, but I'm good. Um, Glad to be back streaming, trying to stay on a normal schedule here on Friday mornings. Friday mornings for me anyway. So taking a quick break in between things. But yeah, it's Friday. I'm angular up as usual. Um, so yeah, I had talked about, and I'll kind of give the backstory of what this stream is generally going to be about, because it's been something that I've kind of been working on for a bit here. If I can bring it up here, and we'll see how this goes. So yeah, so like I said, this stream is the question was, what if we had remix style forms in Angular? So I'm going to be back and forth between the remix docs and kind of working in Angular to see how we can do that. So if you caught the last stream, then you would have saw that I had something a work in progress already about remix forms in Angular. So we're going to continue with that. So yeah, with that, we'll switch over to here. And like I said, this was the tweet that I had yesterday about remix style forms in Angular. Lightweight, template focused, local effect style validation, and reactive data bindings, which is a lot. So yeah, that was the tweet. And I see we got some new people in here. Quentin, hey, how are you? Glad you're dropping in. Also, Sad Gamer Girl, thanks for dropping through also. So that was a tweet. If you don't know what, of course I normally do Angular stuff, but if you don't know what remix is, we can dive into that really quick. Stop run. Remix is actually a React. Well, okay, gonna try to get the pitch right. I don't work for them, so either way. But they tell you right here, it's a full stack web framework that helps you build better websites, and they have support for React out of the box, and they're talking about they're going to support Angular in the future. So definitely looking forward to that. But I think that's a ways away. And this, like I said, this is one of my more or less side projects that I'm kind of streaming and learning along the way. Hey, DNDP, what's up? How are you? Side projects that I'm learning along the way. And I'm kind of doing two things. I'm kind of learning how Remix works and kind of getting to dig into the source code some also. And see how, like I said, maybe something like that could work for Angular, but we'll see. Let me know if the volume is too high or low, and we'll adjust as we kind of go there. So yeah, this site is pretty cool actually. It supports things like nested routes. Baited by the stream title. Hey, gotcha. No, wasn't a bait and switch, but yes, that is the goal of the stream today, or at least for like things that I'm going forward with, side project things. So we'll see. So with that, we'll jump right in here, and I guess I can go back to the remix docs here, and go through, kind of talk about how forms in remix work, and then we can kind of see how maybe we can translate those things over. But let's see. So yeah, Remix is React based. Yes, it is. But like I said, it's React based today, but they said they will support other frameworks like Vue, Svelte, and even mentioned Angular also. The landing page from Remix is a piece of art. That is correct. I like it. If you haven't noticed already, I'm kind of smitten with Remix, and I'm smitten with Remix and Angular. But yes, the landing page is top notch. So definitely kudos to that design team and the work that was put in for that. So yeah, Forms and Remix. It actually goes back to when I was a backend developer with PHP back in the day, and of course on that side you kind of handled everything on the server, and Remix kind of takes a bit of that and mixes that with front end work, so you can kind of mix your front end and back end right next to each other, in which that provides a really nice experience there. So let's see, I'll open this up here, and just as a quick example, here if I have a route here, it's called products, and I have a form on this route, this looks like a pretty standard form here, with the exception of this form component that's provided by Remix, and lets you do a form method post, and then it posts to the server, and then you can get the results of that using an action function here. So as you can see, these two things are really close together. And animations from the timeline part, yes, chef's kiss. Hey, good morning, how are you? See, we got a few people in here. Folks, there you go. So yes, the action is, like I said, right next to the route component itself, and there's other things also like loaders, but this is particularly for actions that I'm looking at. So do you have access to the middleware and use functions like next using Express? XJS doesn't allow for this. No, it doesn't quite work the same way that where you get the request handlers from Express. Remix is kind of built like a layer above Express, so if you wanted to have some custom handlers like that, you could do that, but it's the mental model around it isn't necessarily built that way, if that makes sense. So Chow, what's up? Good morning, how are you? But yes, you don't have access to that middleware and functions in Next and Express, but you don't necessarily need to have that either, because like I said, they built an adapter on top of Express, and this is part of what makes Remix nice also, is that it's not necessarily built on top of Express, it's built on top of the request and response APIs, so you can integrate those in with Express and other infrastructure like that, and kind of get the same results, or the same kind of use that across different stacks. I'm doing pretty good. Back at it again, trying to, like I said, trying to keep the stream consistent again. So, and I kind of mentioned this yesterday about Remix style forms in Angular, so I just kind of giving a quick overview of that, how Remix forms work. So you get a plain form, you can submit that form, and then the action handler picks that up, and then has kind of a loop there on how that works. So I will bring up this form here. I'll run that, and we can kind of show what that looks like in Remix really quick. So if I go to products, and this is a form, that form that I just displayed a minute ago. Here, name, description, and create. And so if I wanted to use this form data, I can get fields from the form. So name equals data.get. get name, and I'll say if I don't put anything in the name, return errors. Return name. Name is required. Or if I do fill it out, I can just return a redirect. And in here, I can actually use that data. Use that data there. Hey, Marco, what's up? Josh, updating a boat. I don't know. I don't understand the reference. You're gonna have to help me there. So action data will use action data, and this will be the result of this. So if I say and if you've used remix before, you can, oh, sorry, that's not an ng if. If I say errors, action data, name, Starship shop would probably be an error, but name is required. Error there. So if I click create, then you can, as you can see, the form kind of posts there. Updating my bot. Oh, okay. Maybe I must have done something with the notification there or something. Come for the stream, stay for the music. Hey, you got it. Let's close that. So you can kind of see how that works there. And see how that kind of loop works. So I will switch over to my ng remix here, and to give a little context on this one, I have if you missed the previous one, I basically took an Angular project and a remix project and like smashed the two things together. And this is using version 12 of Angular, which I kind of talked about in the other stream also, because it still lets me use SSR without let me use SSR with CommonJS. But to be more specific, what I'm trying to do here is use this form method. This looks familiar, where we have a form method and a post, and right now I'm just using this locally. So I submit the form, and then I define an action handler in my component file that lets me use some of the same things that Remix would have. And as you see, I've done some with this already. So let's close that. And we'll do some, I'll have to start up the Remix server again, just so it brings me to this app instead of the other one. And let's close that. So, in a roundabout way, I've looked at how can we bring this to, how can we do something like this in Angular? So I have a products page here, or I'll just bring up the app itself. There's a lot going on here, I know. Not really, but we have the app, we got products, and create new product, and that's where the this page is in Angular. So we got the form, submit, and I'm not using template driven forms or reactive forms or anything yet, because it's more, like I said, proof of concept that we're kind of working through. But on the previous example, example, you notice that the page didn't refresh, even though I was submitting a form with like a method equal to post. And that's where the magic of, I call it magic of Remix comes in. And to try to emulate that, like I said, this is running under the Remix, running the Remix dev server, which can integrate in with Angular SSR today, using their kind of way of using a client and a server. So you render the information on the server, then you of course rehydrate it on the client. So, and that gives you access to these action handlers and things. So if I look at this today, you can see my, my kind of hacked together code here of what we got going on. But in general, you submit the form, and I'm using the onSubmit handler. And Remix, the form component, kind of handles this in a similar way. It looks like you're submitting a form like you would normally, but it's actually using fetch on the other side of that to handle the posting to the data and everything. So, and there's some things that they tag along with that. So what I'm doing here is event prevent default, and I've console logged some things here, of course. So let's see. So if I use, what I need to do is when I submit the form is to get this name field here and submit that along with the text. So if we look at how this works already, DevTools here, I'll refresh that. So if I submit this right now, we go into debug mode here. And we can see that, at least based on the code, so it submits the form, that hits this action handler and sends that data back. And then I can kind of handle that data here. So you see in the console, name is required. So it's actually giving me that data back correctly based on what I've sent. And the way that works is Remix, like I said, it has glue between the server and the client as far as the actions go. So it knows when I fetch this data to call the action handler. I'll call it action handler. I'm not sure if that's completely correct, but we'll see. And so they use this _data property with the route and post that data to the server. And then it gives me the response back. So yeah, what I'm trying to do next is actually get the data from the form into the submit event, and then maybe we can look at turning this into a directive or something like that could be used, right? And I could have a directive that does this underneath and then brings that data back to this form. So, and then I might have to have a service or something like that to kind of glue the two things together. So we'll see how far we get. And I'm gonna, like I said, gonna be digging into some Remix code in between to figure out how some of that's done, in case I'm just doing too many hacks on hacks on hacks. So yeah, there is the fetch part where this is my form here. They just released a new version, so I'm not on latest, but I think it'll be okay. So if I go into components and use the use submit, which is what they use underneath when you submit the form. And it kind of walks through some of the things that I was talking about here as far as go down here. Use effect. So it does the event prevent default here, and then it used to submit the data from the form, and then starts that loop. So start there. Hey Christy, what's up? How are you? I was going through my spiel here of trying to blend Remix and Angular together in some kind of way that makes sense for now, even as just a side project thing. So that's what we're doing here. Hey Mate, what's up? You see we got some people from the crew in here. Good to see you. So yeah, some of the parts that I'm missing in the, hey Jason, what's up? How are you? My messages or things must be, like Twitch does this thing where it waits a few minutes after you start. I guess they want to wait until they see a face or something instead of like the starting screen or those kind of things. So and if you see any, I don't have any alerts or anything turned on yet because I need to rebuild I have an idea to rebuild my stream kit. I call it stream kit, stream bot thing for alerts. But I haven't started that one yet. This is another rabbit hole I'm currently going down, but we're going to get back on that one soon. So I was talking about how Remix handles the forms and how it sends along the data that you need. It's target form data. And I'm just trying to see what I'm necessarily missing in some of this, because of course this is like baked into Remix, and I'm kind of reverse engineering some of this to see how it works. And Jason I believe you're a React user, so you probably know how a lot of this stuff works already. And I'm more of a React, new to React, and just kind of digging around at things, finding my way, which is fine. Okay, so Remix trigger, action type, and coding type. And I think that's what I don't have right here so far. Event target.form. So if we go back in here, and I'm going to comment out some of this in a moment here. And I see got some things going on in the chat here. Fix that really quick. There we go. Yeah, so yeah, I think this will be a lot different than template-driven forms or even reactive forms in Angular if we do it this way, so that, because we're not like two-way data binding or anything. So if I get my form here, so I can switch easier. Okay, so we want to get the data out of the form from here. So form equals the target. Value key parent form data. Each one of those we're going to form entry value. This one is just taking each key target name. Form data. Let's see what this gives me. And we'll push this down here. That's the only thing about this loop here, about the cache reload, and that's probably something I can do to tweak that, but we'll see. If I put name, console undefined. Submit it again. Form, it says key is name and value is test. Okay, so should be able to just do this. We'll cast it and see. Okay. And we'll see what we're getting redirected to here. Name is required. Let's try that again. Fix. Let's see. Hey, Michael, what's up? How are you? Hopefully, I got your name right there. So if I say fixed, submit, key should be name and fixed. So I should get still get a name required. This is one of the parts that breaks my brain about Remix also, is because your server and your client are right there together, you kind of have to context switch in place. You're the first person who can compare my name to Michael, which is totally correct. Oh, good. You never know. I saw that the name didn't have the E in it, or the first name didn't have the E in it, so it gave me a little bit of pause. But it worked out, it seems. So it's fixed. If I submit it again, and it doesn't look like I'm getting the name back here. So what am I missing? Because I know that if I do this, no breakpoints. Still get name required. Okay, form data name. Okay, let's go back to here. Type of value is string. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for. Target equals search programs, object keys. And of course, I was looking at this last night and I had something working. So where did I miss? Probably tweak some things. Okay, name. Okay, let's just see what we get here. Empty cache. The other part about it is that you can see your server code in the browser, but you can't do any breakpoints, which is always fun. Hey, Andres, what's up? How are you? I'm guessing these I must be getting the I saw a tweet go out about the live stream, so that was pretty cool. So yes, start the day with open source, end the day with open source. That's how it works sometimes. Form data. Okay, so that worked, but it was hard coded, so it should work. But why am I not getting any? A little late. No worries. I am looking at Remix. If you haven't heard of Remix already, Remix is a new web framework that's built in we're using React as a focus currently, and I'm looking to port some of that functionality. Look at porting some of that functionality to Angular, most specifically the forms aspect of it, because their forms are pretty lightweight. I think for smaller forms, it'd be a lightweight solution that could work pretty well. So yeah, just kind of digging through some source code, and trying to get that working. But yeah, how has your week been? And other people in the chat, if you want to chime in, how's your week been also? If you got any plans for the weekend, that'd be cool. Let's see what I missed here. Yeah, thanks. Like I said, it's a side project. We'll see where it goes. Form data.append. Let's see if we can get this back to a working state. Where I can at least see the thing happening on both sides. So submit. URL search params. Entries length 0. Okay, let's go here and see. Keys. Does this use pure event API? No ng form, no reactive forms. Yes, that's correct. Currently it's not using either one of those because it's not meant to be added to those. This is more of a different way of, well, I would say more of a traditional way of handling forms in just with regular HTML before we went to mostly JavaScript based forms and things. So it's trying to like get a little mix of the two. Okay, so it looked like that went through as predicted. So okay, let's try this one. Form get name. String. Okay, form. Okay, so that seemed to go all the way through. Because what I'm doing is, and I guess this is a good part about it also, even though this isn't being run on the in the browser, I can at least see what's happening here. I remember seeing something similar to this back when we were using JSPs with Java. Yeah, that's what it definitely has that feel. Um, Java, ASP, PHP. It feels like I've said it's more. Feels like React and PHP had a baby, and but in a good way, where you kind of get a mix of the server side speed of the server side, and then less code on the front end. So, or just basically what you need on the front end. So that one went through because it redirected back to the products page and the name was populated. So let's try that with an empty one. And we can see that nothing happened there, and it should log this to the console. So, which would have brought me inside this block here. So if we want to wire this, kind of how a remix works within loaders or with action data, I would say errors. Let's see. Name string. We'll set that to any for now. And if we made it in here, that means we have some errors. So this errors equals get out of here with that any. All right, fine. String or no. Is that better? Chow. We can't even do innies with we can't even do innies with hack code yet. Okay, so let's do a hard refresh here. And we'll submit. Oh, I guess I don't have anything handling this error code. So then we can come in here. Use my buddy ngIf. Marco's still here. Give me a crash course on typing. Yes, that would probably help. Okay, this is gonna make me do it this way. Errors.name. Okay, let's try this again. So if I don't submit anything, I know the fetch part works. And I think we're, well, let me set a breakpoint here, but okay. Okay, I didn't get anything that time. Oh, okay, it didn't log anything to the console, which is correct. But I would have expected something to happen there. Probably, I'm probably console log. I'm going to take a guess here and say I'm probably out of the zone. The NG zone, if you're unfamiliar. Let's see what. Okay, so that I throw console log in there, and then it comes up correctly. So strict mode would never tolerate that nonsense. Alcadin, you're correct. And let's see what my settings are. Well, I can't be on strict false. Look at that. I've completely told on myself. I'm not using strict mode because I don't need to be as strict at the moment. We're trying to get stuff working, and strictness gets in the way sometimes. So you can send me a PR to my non-existent repo to get strict mode working. But I'm going to push this up at some point. Okay, so let's see. Where did this tell me? Okay, so it does say I'm in the Angular zone. Interesting. Let's do that again. Hard reload. Okay, cool. Aim is required. I guess I could do the safe thing there, but I submit and it'll redirect me correctly because I got into the remix redirect block, which came from an action handler. So that's cool. In the chat, what do you think about, because as I said, this is far from production ready, but I am interested to see, because like effectively this could go away and it could look more, or it could even have something Angular that looks like this, maybe, and use a directive that does the submitting and handling of the request. But the glue, I think the glue is in the service that would have to mix these two things. So in theory, I would have some action data service. They call them action functions in Remix. But I have some action function service, and it would have like its errors. Its errors would probably be an observable of errors. So this would be an observable. I'm just kind of pseudo coding here. This action data service dot errors, or this could even be not an observable. I don't know yet. This can be an error, probably because there is no action data service yet. Checkable. But this service would be, hey child, thanks for coming through. Yeah, I'm about to wrap this one up also soon. Errors. So if I move this to here, and just for kicks, so providers, action data service, and I have to do this because we're not completely in Angular land here. Looks like that still works. So change this to action data. Errors. It's public. Still works. Okay, so try this again. Test. So that all works there. Because like the action data will kind of know which form to action data wouldn't necessarily be bound to this particular component, but it would know how to, and I think that's where the directive comes in. It would know how to attach the form and the errors so that you could get that data back once it gets submitted. And I can move all of that out of here. So yeah, that's where it is. I think that's a good stopping point for that, at least for today. And we'll pick it back up next time. So yeah. Hey, thanks for coming through, everyone. Again, we'll try to keep these as normal as possible because we still got to get some work done. But yeah, let's see if we can find someone to raid before we drop off here. But thanks everyone for coming through. Check out the other stream if you wanted to see a little more backstory on that. And hey, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, do that too, because you got to do those sort of things. And on that, let's see if we can find somebody to raid. If my fingers will work.
Okay, good.
Do that. I don't see anyone online that I know of. I raided White Panther last week. Jackie Codes, Monster PC, linkport.dev, LJ Tech. Hey, Steph just went live. So let's go there. She does a lot of cool CSS stuff and things like that. So we will give her a raid here. And if we can get this working. Thanks everyone for coming through, and we will see you all in the next one. Take care.